if I could get you to state your name for us, just so we have it correct.
Yeah, I'm Sage Olson.
Okay, and that's Olson?
Yes.
All righty. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off, and that way if I'm making any noise, it won't focus the camera on me. And then I'll just pop in and out if I have any follow-up questions. But I'm going to go ahead and let Adrian take over. All right, you good to go, Adrian?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. So to start off, I guess just tell us about yourselves, just such as your background or what type of line of work you're in.
Yeah, so I started out, I got my bachelor's degree in social work. And my senior year of my bachelor's degree, I did that at Utah State in northern Utah. And my senior year of my bachelor's degree, I interned at a middle school in the school counseling department. And I really fell in love with that. And so afterwards, I went and pursued a master's degree, a master's of education at the University of Utah. And while I was there, I did yet another internship. And I did an internship at a charter school. It was a charter school for parenting and pregnant teens. So it was girls who were like 15, 16, 17, and they had gotten pregnant. And because of that, they had to drop out of school. And they came to our charter school, and we had a daycare on campus and really helped them graduate high school. And a lot of the girls I worked with had a lot of trauma and a lot of mental health issues. So I was working with them as a school counselor, helping them get credits and graduate high school. But I realized that I really, really felt like I need to do more for these girls as far as helping them with the mental health side of things. So that's when I decided to go back and also get my master's degree in social work. And I became a clinical therapist. And I've been, the last 3 years, I've been working at a treatment center for at-risk teens. And I did a lot of trauma and substance use work with them. And then last summer we moved to Wendover. My husband got offered a job as a teacher there, and we decided to make the move. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So your background, you've had a decent background, I guess, that kind of relates to where you are now with the prevention group then.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me a little bit about that? Like what it is, or like what you guys do?
So my official title is prevention specialist. So basically what it is we come in and we'll do what they call an assessment. This year it's going to be, they call it a SHARP survey. We're actually going to be administering that within the next month. But we come in, and it's to all the high schools, students grades 6 to 12, and it's asking different questions about how they feel about different things like bullying, drugs, underage drug use, substance use, all of that stuff. And then from there we can kind of gauge where some concerns are, right? So if we have a lot of students on that survey say that, there's a big issue of bullying at the school, then that tells us that's where we need to focus. So the last couple of years from that survey, it has shown that there's a lot of underage drinking and drug use. And that's kind of been an increasing problem in Wendover. So that has been our focus. So that's kind of our focus, is trying to educate and bring awareness to not only the students, but also parents in the community, and trying to decrease that overall. So yeah, I don't know, did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah. So is there any like specific, I guess, goal or mission that you set out with the prevention group, like when you first joined? Do you have like any goals in specific, or anything along the lines that you just said?
Yeah, so I mean, there's like the overall goal of the coalition is to is to reduce underage drinking and drug use, right? But my personal goal when I joined and when I took on the position, honestly, I just wanted to get more involved in the community and feel like I was helping and making some kind of an impact. I've been, since we moved to Wendover, I was working from home. I did therapy over video conferencing. So that was great, but it was hard to really feel like I was making a connection with people in the community. And so I was excited at the chance to actually start to meet people and get more involved that way.
And how often do you guys like meet within like the prevention group, or like how often do you guys have any like activities for students or other people to attend?
Yeah, so we have two different parts. We have the Wendover Coalition, and that's for I guess that's like the adult version, right? So that's every third Tuesday, from every third Tuesday at noon, we have a meeting, and there's a lot of key players. Like I know Principal Kylonen and Vice Principal Holloway are on there. I know Miss Durham is on there. The mayors, a lot of key people in the community. We come together and we talk about it and different things we can do. But then we also have the Youth Coalition that we just had our first meeting this last Friday. So those are every first and third Friday at noon. And we get together and we talk about different things. So right now my focus is I want to provide you guys with a way to get more involved in the community and to give back, and also to give you guys leadership skills and skills that you can put on job applications or college applications. So so we had our first meeting this last Friday, and we decided on a logo, and we came up with the different assignments and stuff. And then we're having our second meeting next Friday, where we're gonna come up with an agenda, talk about different service projects we want to do, different things like that.
Oh, and going back to the meetings that you were just talking about, what would be the greatest challenge, I guess, that you guys have faced so far?
Honestly, the hardest part is just getting people to show up and getting people involved, whether it's the coalition that we have every third Tuesday or the Youth Coalition. It's hard to find a time, one, that everyone can show up because everyone's busy. But also it's hard to get the word out and get people motivated to come. That's been the greatest challenge, I feel like.
Do you think that, I guess, the pandemic that we're currently in, do you think that has an effect on this at all? Because I know a lot of people have been suffering from like, I guess they haven't been in the best state of mind. And do you think right now, I guess you might be like trying to, I guess, help others more than any other time?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. It's definitely hard. I feel like the pandemic has created, I don't know if created is the right word, more as brought awareness to a lot more mental health issues. And I feel like there's just the logistics of making sure that when we do have meetings that we're social distancing and trying to keep people safe. But then there's just the part that I feel like a lot of people, there's a lot of extra added stress with the pandemic, right? It's hard to quarantine. You guys have been doing online school up until last month, and that was hard. That's a lot of time. Parents are struggling trying to like juggle the online school and work and all that stuff. And so I feel like that has definitely played a part, just in the fact that people have enough to worry about, that sometimes it might be overwhelming to also ask them to come to another meeting or to focus on something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Adrian, if I can jump in just to ask a couple of follow-up questions. So you mentioned the testing that you did. It wasn't really testing; it was a survey.
Yeah.
That was taken. And do you want to talk a little bit about that survey and maybe some of the things that you feel comfortable sharing that you learned about our community in terms of its unique challenges or situations, and then a little bit about And maybe right now you haven't gotten that far, but talk a little bit about the vision that the group has on how they might address some of those, areas that are red flags that say, this is an area that the youth need some help in.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. It's not a test. It's just a survey. Like, it's not like you're being graded on it or anything. It's so one thing that we have learned that we actually just had a meeting with the school board, the Elko County School District, last night, talking to them about this. So the test we did a few years ago, it showed that there was the attitudes, like the perceived risk of underage drinking and drug use, was very low, meaning that a lot of people felt like it's not a big deal, right? It's almost become accepted in the community. And that was 2 years ago. And then from the one last year, we showed that that has even risen. And so that's been the biggest, that's been the interesting part that we've learned with the community from these surveys, is that there does just seem to be this increasing, how do I say it? Like the perception, right? And the culture around drinking and drug use. It seems to be largely accepted, it seems to be largely accepted that underage drinking and drug use is okay. And I don't know if that's because people don't realize how damaging it can be, how damaging alcohol and marijuana can be on the developing brain. It can do permanent, irreversible damage. Or if it's just, and that definitely, I feel like the pandemic has added to that, increased stress and all of that. Yeah, and then what was the second question?
Well, and then, as you've identified kind of what are the areas of risk, how, I think the question was more along the lines of, have you come up with any particular strategies that you think will be more successful than others in trying to raise the awareness that there are certain things that are, maybe perceived as acceptable in the adult world, but children have you touched on something that I think is really important, and that is the developing brain. And we understand now from brain science that oftentimes, the brain isn't fully developed for some people until they're in their 20s. And so, when you're 14, 15, 16-year-old, you can do some serious damage.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. We've had a lot of talks about that the last couple of weeks, of how looking at the research and what the research says is the most effective way to approach that. And, looking back to like when I was in middle school and high school, thinking about like the DARE program, or we had like these assemblies it was scare tactics, basically. I felt like the assemblies were all just like, don't drink, because if you do, you're going to drive and you're going to kill someone. Or it was just talking all about like the negative effects, or like scare tactics, basically. But I don't feel like anyone ever actually had an assembly or ever actually told me the effects on the brain and what that is. And so we talked about making this shift from, rather than sharing all these like cautionary tales or scary stories of what could happen if you get high or if you get drunk, right? Rather telling them like, this is the legitimate science behind it, is that it does do irreversible damage to the developing brain. And it can make it harder to retain knowledge, to learn things, to, go on to college, to have a career. And so we've really been trying to educate the youth about that and have that kind of be our message, and trying to get awareness surrounding that rather than, the scare tactics, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And going back to the needs, you mentioned that, how difficult it is to try to get people involved, whether it's, work schedule, awareness of what the group does. What would you say is probably your group's highest area of need right now that could make being able to achieve your goal and your mission much more attainable, less challenging? What is it that you guys see would be helpful or beneficial to you?
Like what could help to increase that awareness or get
No, where do you, again, you say it was difficult to get people involved. Where do you see your highest area of need in terms of getting involvement? Is there a particular group of people or leadership or funding, or if you had a wish list, I guess, that would help you achieve your objectives, what would be your 1, 2, 3?
Yeah. That's interesting. So definitely, I mean, I feel like funding is always up there, especially like you can always use more funding. Um, I feel like one of the biggest things would just be all of the like local leaders, not only like the local leaders, but like the adults and those people that have influence, like parents, teachers, all of that, getting them on board with it and getting them to understand our message and why it's important, and getting them to understand like why it's something that they need to be like investing in. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's a widespread cultural thing, right? And it needs to be addressed. It definitely needs to be addressed at the level of the home, you know, what the parents are teaching, what the teachers, what example they're showing, what they're teaching. Yeah, I feel like those would be the top two.
That's really good, because, you know, here at the school, we always talk about if kids can hear the same common message, whether it's academic vocabulary or the same theme, that you can cultivate a culture and a mindset if everybody is talking about it in the room. They don't have to say the exact same words, but there's that consistent theme. And I think you touch on that. If you get all of the leadership within your community, you know, speaking the same language, in terms of prevention language.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really good. All right, Adrian, I'll go ahead and let you take that last question.
To wrap it up, is there like anything you'd like to tell people who are interested, or I guess just tell people a message to get to, I guess, be interested in the prevention group?
Yeah, I feel like with with the youth prevention group, right? I feel like there's almost this like stigma or stereotype around it, right? Where kids, I don't know if they, you know, if they think it's not cool or it's dumb, or, you know, and I get it, like it's something that I'm asking them to come to on a Friday when they don't have school, and maybe that's not what they want to do on their weekend, you know, or they might think it's boring. And that's what I'm really trying to change is, you know, and like last time, you know, we had pizza, we played a fun game. And then, you know, next time I'm going to ask them, what are some activities that you want to do? What are some things you want to see, right? Like, I don't want it to be just another adult or another person coming in, telling them what to do or what they're going to be doing. So yeah, I really just wanted to know, like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun group. It's just a chance to connect with other kids in the community, and to give back, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
Alrighty. If I could just ask you to speak to the community for just a second and just let them know, when is the next meeting that adults could come to, if there is a meeting that adults could come to, and if it's not for adults, when is the next meeting for the kids? What time? Where do they go? I know it's every first and third Friday, so where should kids look to go, and so we can get the word out to the kids to show up?
Yeah, so first, let me look at the date. So our youth coalition, our second meeting is going to be next Friday, the 19th. And that's another thing. I don't want kids to feel like they had to show up to the first meeting and sign up, or they can't come. Like, they can come anytime. Sorry, I've got my dog that's being really right now. And so, yeah, they can come anytime. Anytime they're welcome. It's not like they had to be there at the first session. So that's going to be next Friday the 19th, and that'll be at noon. It'll be at 12 at the Wendover Utah Community Center, the one right there across from the daycare. And then we have and this is something I need to clarify. We have our coalition meeting every third Tuesday at noon, and we honestly, we were actually, me and my supervisor were actually just talking about this the other day, that we would love to get more diversity on that coalition and more representation from all demographics. So if there's any parents in the community, right, like they don't need to be the mayor or the principal, right? Any parents in the community or anyone that feels like they want to be a part of this and this is something that they want to support, they're welcome to reach out to me. We want to make sure that it's a coalition that's representing all demographics, that everyone feels like it's their coalition, you know.
So if we were to put contact information at the end of the video for a parent that would maybe like to come in and just sit and listen to the meeting and see if it's something that they would want to be involved in, is there some specific contact information you could offer me that we could post so that they know who to get a hold of?
Yeah, for sure. They can email me at sage.wendoverprevention@gmail.com. And you have my email, so you can put that so they make sure they get it spelled right. But yeah, they're more than welcome to email me, and any questions about that, we'd welcome it.
Adrian, do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay. Well, Ms. Olson, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to inform us about the Wendover Prevention Group, and I want to thank you for investing in the youth in our community and taking a little bit of time to let us know. And I hope that this will help encourage people to become more involved and help out and raise awareness. And again, thank you so much. And we're really glad to have you here in Wendover, along with your husband at the high school.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me a platform to talk about it.
Absolutely. We hope to have you back again to hear how things are going.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have information that you would like us to help get out. Feel free to reach out to us and we'll be glad to do that for you.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
All right. Tell the dog hi.
Yeah, well.
All right. Thank you.
Mm.